what the hell is happening. I don't know what's happening.
You like watching TV shows and movies? Don't watch on that. You want a Quest. Look at...
Every time he gets...
Well, then we'd have 3 likes for every person in here. We'd get like 3,000 likes.
Okay, we'll take that.
All right. We also want to give some love to Royce O'Neal, our 4th big, bright, shiny star. All of these were in no order, particularly either. But, Stephen, I'll let you lead this conversation. Your blue-collar boys, the get it done. Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn duo.
This. I feel like the impact is getting felt now. We're getting into the nitty gritty, talking about the role players shining light on them, and this is what it's all about. Royce O'Neal. Do you know what his plus or minus was for post game?
I know. I don't.
You're here in person.
No, look. In this case, this is one where the eye test matches the plus minus, right? He was plus 25, correct? Yes. That actually fully embraces the impact that he had tonight. Sometimes this stat is
100%.
just insanely inaccurate.
Yep.
Here, not the case. Royce O'Neal's impact was unbelievable.
The Suns were 100% at their best with Royce O'Neal on the floor, from his first shift to his last shift, and his last 2 shifts coming in small ball, where he's out there switching, initially guarding Anthony Davis and or LeBron James,
How am I
and then
missing
switching
that,
on
man?
any one of the Lakers guards that might have been on the floor, and doing so with the activity levels and the preemptiveness with his communication that really helps those smaller lineups work. Your margin for error is non-existent when you're going small, especially if you're going small without Kevin Durant on the floor at times. Like that's a tall ask, and they were
small.
And that lineup without Kevin Durant in that unit was plus 11 at one point.
Yeah,
that's unheard of. We got a question pregame asking what would be the Suns' counter to the Lakers' size. You said small ball. I agreed. That's a little bit of what we're thinking of, and to that point. In addition to speaking on Royce O'Neal, I also want to give a major salute to Mike Budenholzer for his feel.
Oh my God.
Field for the game typically is used with scorers or playmakers. A coach has to have it more than anything else because each game is going to demand something different from your team. If you don't pull the right string, you might not get the result you desire. He did that again tonight doing the small ball.
Royce O'Neal outscored the entire Lakers bench tonight.
Exactly.
12 points. He had more assists than the entire Lakers bench. He had 4. He had more rebounds than the entire Lakers bench. He had 9.
Yep.
That just speaks volumes to what he was able to do. He had just as many 3-pointers as the Lakers bench as well. And I'm shocked. He didn't have a steal, at least one that was recorded tonight. He had the 2 blocks, but no steals. But he was all over the court, deflecting balls. He was everywhere.
Oh, my God.
And like I talked about earlier, that's another guy that energy's infectious, right? And when you're able to have a guy that you can bring in that isn't, his minutes are going to fluctuate throughout this year, but he's always ready. We've talked about that.
I don't see you.
He's always ready to go out there and do what's necessary.
I also think with Royce O'Neal, I think it's his attitude and his approach to the game and everything as well. He was asked to shoot around, Ryan Dunn got to start on Saturday. Last year, Royce O'Neal probably would have been slotted into that role, right? He said it doesn't really matter. Coach gives me opportunities, whether it's coming off the bench, whether it's starting. I'm going to take advantage of whatever it is that I can get, and I'm going to do my best for the betterment of the team. That's big time. When you're talking about a vet of his stature who is consistent, has been one of the most consistent players on this team, granted, again, I know 4 games, but still, something to be noted, getting the rookie getting the start ahead of him, and he doesn't feel any type of way about it.
You know what that is? Leadership.
Hey! What?
Oh, then he definitely didn't learn that one from Kevin Durant, according to Stephen A. Smith.
Okay, Stephen A.
I think a cool thing about Royce is that he can literally play alongside every single player in every single lineup in basically any role on this team. And there's not many role players in the league that can fit like that everywhere. And so that's probably part of the confidence where he knows, like, man, if I don't start, even if I'm not the first off the bench, like, my skill set is going to translate to any lineup that we need to put out there. I'm going to get my number called, and when I do, I'm going to make sure it keeps getting called.
Yeah.
And to that point, as we kind of wrap up the Royce conversation, the lineup that won this game for the Suns, as they made the comeback, I think it was like a 16-4 run stretching between the end of the third and early fourth quarter. Tyus Jones, Devin Booker, Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn, Bradley Beal. You know who's the 5 in that lineup? That's Royce O'Neal.
Yeah.
You know what they're doing? A lot of switching, a lot of 5-out spacing, making quick decision passing to keep the defense in rotation. That lineup was +8.
But you know why you couldn't do that last year? You didn't have Ryan Dunn. And that opens up a lot of things where you can use Royce in different ways that you couldn't last year because Royce had to be what Ryan Dunn was trying to do. So all of a sudden, it unlocks a lot of different options for you, and you can better utilize Royce in multiple facets.
And that's why it's not the blue-collar guy, it's the blue-collar boys. You don't get the impact from one without the other and vice versa. And together, you see what they have an impact on the team.
Yeah. All right, on the other side, we will talk about the center position. But first, a quick break. Listen, you guys, there's no better place to stop in the morning on your way to work, in the afternoon on your way home from work, at night when you're heading out, at night when you're heading home, than Circle K. Circle K is everything you could ever need in your entire life, right? They've got gas, they've got great snacks, they've got amazing drinks, they've got coffee, they've got bananas, they've got muffins and sweet treats. They even have milk and eggs.
What don't they have?
Literally,
Lindsay?
what don't they have? Right now, you should join the Inner Circle. It's a free membership program, and they want to give you even more, like 25 cents off your first 5 cents off a gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents off per gallon every single day, coupons and discounts like the member exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members like you right now can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. So join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
You know, they don't have milk, but they got a lot of great things over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Like the best gaming floor in all the desert. Yeah, I'm including that other city north of here as well. They have some of the best at all their locations. They have over 450 or 4,500 slots and live table games. They also have 4 diamond resort ratings. Like, this is unbelievable what they have.
Between the Achilles and missing a couple games, you know, I think we want to.
Are they serious with this lineup? Y'all shit, I want to.
They have Shula's Steakhouse, Prime Steakhouse,
foul trouble or
an
something?
unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you won't find anywhere else in the desert. We know they've set the bar high, so high that nobody else can get there. So earn entries for Ferrari Fortunes every Friday at 7 p.m. Winners are drawn for cash prizes and free bonus play. The grand finale will take place on November 1st at Wildwood Pass, where one lucky winner will win a Ferrari 488 GTB. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. And Mike Budenholzer loves it too.
So you got a little teaser there of Coach Budenholzer, and he spoke about the decision to go with Mason Plumlee over Yusuf Nurkic down the stretch. Here's what he had to say.
Mason was great tonight, you know, so I think that, you know, our team, the bench, you know, it's early. I think it's only 4 games, whatever it is, but lots of different guys on the bench have stepped up and played well, and, you know, it's early for Mason, but I thought he was fantastic tonight. So, you know, sometimes, you know, there's different versions of going with a hot hand, defensively and energy and all those things. I thought Mason really had a big positive impact on the game, so we kind of rolled with him.
Different versions of going with the hot hand. I think that is very well said from Mike Budenholzer. I think that speaks to his decision-making process that we've already seen through 4 games. He's not attached to one specific lineup or one specific person being the reason why the team is going to win. He's all attention to what the game is calling for. Sometimes it's not going to be Nurkic. Sometimes it might not be Kevin Durant that he's drawing plays up for after timeout. Sometimes it might be Grayson Allen. Sometimes it might be Devin Booker or Bradley Beal. That's what you need in your head coach. I know I have my paradigm in terms of the order in which I'm going about doing things. Sometimes you have to go off script. And the coaches that adjust early and adjust often are the ones that are oftentimes the most successful come season's end.
You just have to have feel, right? You got to
Yep.
understand the moment and understand what levers need to be pulled.
Mhm.
And that's the difference between a good coach and a great coach, is the guy that can feel the moment and understand how to make those changes. And we got a front row seat for how Mike Budenholzer did that in the 2021 finals, right?
Yep.
And now you're seeing it here on the right
What?
side of things, where he has that feel. He isn't married to certain guys, which we've seen coaches here
Absolutely.
get very married to. Even want their daughters to marry certain guys in the rotation. And Coach Bud really has a good feel for that so far.
I also think that, like, okay, because we saw in the first two games, right, Nurk didn't get as much run as he did in the third game. But he still he found a way to have, like, that energy. Didn't seem like he took it personally. And I think that probably speaks to Coach Bud and his ability to create relationships with these players and have those open, honest conversations. I mean, this is going back to, like, even the three-point conversation, like, that Bradley Beal was sharing with us about he had with Coach Bud. To explain to Nurk, like, listen, the Lakers are just not a good matchup for you. So we might roll with Plumlee on a few more minutes than you, or we might not need you in the way in which we would need you against somebody else like the Mavs.
Yeah.
And to be able to have those conversations, because I feel like a lot of coaches, it felt like anyway in the past, I'm not saying it's true, but it felt like maybe there was a fear of, if I pull these guys and I don't continue to roll with them, even though it costs us the game, something's going to go sour here and we're going to have a bigger issue on our hands. It feels like Coach Bud is at least having those hard conversations up front to avoid any of that mess.
Look, Yusuf Nurkic is an M. Night Shyamalan movie, right? It's either really good or really bad, and there is zero in between, right?
Mhm.
And that's the way he is. Some matchups are going to look like tonight and look like last Friday. He's not good against this Lakers team, and it's pretty obvious. And it is, to your point, Lindsay, the tough decision that you have to make, but you have to be willing to look the guy in the face and go, this just isn't where you're going to succeed. And it's my job to put you in a position to succeed. This isn't it. I'm going to go elsewhere. And you got to give Bud credit for being willing to make that tough call.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll say one last thing. For Suns fans that have been watching, even through the dismay or the desire to see more, especially last season, in comparison and contrast, it's only been 4 games. Last season, we didn't really see small ball from Frank Vogel outside of a minute and a half stretch to close a half or close a quarter until February against the Sacramento Kings, in which that was the 20-something point comeback where he put Kevin Durant at the 5 for the entire fourth quarter, took the script of the game, and they won. We've already seen small ball in multiple iterations for rather significant stretches of second half of games through 4 games this season.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying I don't want to make it Bud versus Vogel, but I'm just talking about the feel for your roster. This is a brand new roster that he's implementing a brand new system with a brand new coaching staff on top of that. And he's already putting this type of stamp on their process. For this team to be that adaptable and receptive to his in-game adjustments like this breeds for greatness down the line.
That's trust, too, which
Absolutely.
I don't think they had last year. It's about that trust, to your point, Lindsay, and being willing to listen to him in those situations.
Yeah. We do have a couple super chats here about Coach Bud and about Yusuf Nurkic. Omar sent us one and said, coaches don't normally get credit like the NFL, but
That play is
Coach
so
Bud,
stupid. I don't
or
think
Bud
I'm running it
coached
right.
his ass off. I felt like him and JJ were competing the whole game, and it was a chess match.
It was definitely a chess match because a couple minutes into that aforementioned small ball lineup, JJ Redick calls a timeout to stop the run. But at that point, I think the Suns had came within 1 point or had tied the game. And at that point, the job was done from that lineup.
Fuck.
Shortly
I
thereafter,
can't hit that shot, bro.
coming out of that timeout, Bud went back to a more traditional lineup. But that's the gamesmanship that you're speaking to. We appreciate the super chat. That's exactly what was going on.
I know we're a Suns podcast, but I got to give a shout out to JJ Redick early in the season. 'Cause I thought, dude's never coached. He's coming from a podcast. Like, Steven's going to be the next great NBA coach after
Stay tuned.
JJ.
I believe it. I believe it.
But he's really stepped up. It's been interesting. But yeah, Coach Bud and him playing chess tonight for sure.
Yeah. Amzobi gave 2. We'll just read the first one too.
Oh.
Kevin Durant. I don't know how to do it.
Kevin Durant.
That's better.
Like,
I should have let you do it.
Laker.
I know, I'm not good at it though. But I agree. They also sent us another one and they said trade Nurk for Finney Smith. He could play 5 or 4.
You don't want to just trade him for anything.
Well,
Dorian.
I like Dorian.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I'm speaking for myself. You don't want to trade him for anything. You trade him for Dorian Finney-Smith. How long do you feel like you can last with Mason Plumlee as your starting 5?
Yeah.
15 minutes a game.
Obviously, we saw what he can do today. Exactly. But is that sustainable in a starting role? It's not. And that's the situation that the Suns are in right now.
And you can't commit to small ball for large portions. You can for short times, and it's effective. But if you're committing to that as one of your main strategies, you're already behind.
It's a counterpunch, not a piece that you're trying to dictate with consistently.
Grant sent us one. Thank you, Grant. They said, if this game doesn't tell the front office that we don't need Nurk, then I don't know what to tell them. Ha. Get us an athletic big can play point D.
I would love
and
athletic
can catch
big.
a lob, and we're cooking 1 to 2 moves away.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've talked about it. I think this isn't one guy at that position. I think it's multiple guys that they have to have. And I don't think it's going to be a wholesale change. I think they find another guy to be part of that group, is my guess.
Yeah, the center group is very much by committee, even if they do make a trade, because it's still not only going to be that particular person that's playing center, if it even is a center that they get in return to begin with. But that's also why we spoke to the movability of a few players that are in the middle of their rotation right now, based off of the signings that they made over the offseason. So TBD on that, stay tuned, but I do think that we're going to see some type of movement with this roster, because I do feel like they are a move or two away.
All right, we will do a couple more super chats here, and then we're going to hopefully bring in Gerald soon. So hit that like button if you want to see Gerald from the arena. Joshua sent us one, and they said, I love watching wins against Lakers fans here in Iowa. Go Suns. Shout out to you, Joshua, for joining us from Iowa. We appreciate you.
I know that it's later there and not much to do, so we're glad to have you along with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you.
What was the laugh?
That just felt like an unnecessary shot to the dude's home state.
Junior Sarmiento sent us one thank you. They said, if this was last year, we'll be straight losing after that poor start. Good rotation, bud. Also, today is my son's first birthday. His name is Kessler
He just
Devin,
blocked.
a.k.a. KD.
Oh,
Happy birthday, KD.
That
And
goes
thank you for
hard.
being here with us. I also kind of agree with you, at least on the, if this was last year, we probably don't come back and win this game.
100%.
I'm sure they fight back in it, but I don't know if they fully win it on that one. All right, we're going to put a pause on Super Chats for now. We will revisit them here in just a little bit. Before we take a quick break, we do have a clip from Coach Bud talking about Ryan Dunn that I want to show you guys.
Well, I think, we talked a little bit about trying to develop a defensive identity, a toughness, a competitiveness, and, that's probably the definition of Ryan Dunn. I think he gives us an edge on defense. He gives us length and athleticism, takes on tough matchups. I think he's a rim protector, even at his size, a rebounder. And he's making shots and, in transition layup. He's doing all the little things that go into winning.
Look, Coach Bud last week talked about how Ryan Dunn's already earned their trust when he started him, right? Not only Coach Bud's, but his teammates, and that continues to speak to it. They trust this kid to go out there and do what he does best, play good defense, and knock down threes when he's given the opportunity right now.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, Gerald will be here. So hit the like button for Gerald, everybody. Desert Financial Credit Union has been Arizona's largest, most trusted Desert Financial Credit Union has been Arizona's largest, most trusted.
What the fuck? What are you doing, Tires? Oh, you missed that?
クラクロ天ぷらコラボ実質今すぐダウンロード
Yo, Tires, what are you doing right now?
Bug clip or anything you want to interrupt me with right now?
I'm gonna wait till you're at the most
Alright,
important
we'll
part.
save it for later. Well, guess what? I can't screw up this ad read because it's a PHNX ad read. Look, guys, we've got a takeover coming up, and we want you to be out there with us when the Valley Suns take on the Stockton somebody or others. Who cares? We're worried about the Valley Suns here. It's their first game, November 11th. That's a week from Monday. So join us out there. The great seats. They are center court, row 7 and 8. We're going to have some immaculate vibes, and we're going to get some food at Zips on Mill. You're going to want to join us out there for that. And just came out, we're going to have a takeover at a Suns suite on New Year's Eve. You're going to want to join us for that as the Suns take on Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. You can get all your tickets at gophnx.com/events. Make sure to join us for both takeovers.
Are we ready? Are we ready?
In the darkness, beyond the light, there shall only be one. Welcome,
Gerald Bourget, welcome to the program.
How's it going, guys?
Good. We're excited. We got a win against the Lakers. So, great way to start off a week. Am I right?
Absolutely. No better way to start off a week.
Let's just talk about, we haven't really talked about the final moments of this game. I'm sure the guys and coach talked about just kind of how that all played out. What did you hear from them?
Yeah, I think they were happy with the way that they competed down the stretch defensively. There were a lot of props to go around tonight in terms of Mason Plumlee closing with him over Nurk down the stretch there, going small for stretches, the way that they competed, Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant getting 4 blocks, the way that they were able to utilize the length that they have despite going small was really impressive. So, and I asked Royce about the hustle plays, those big momentum shifting plays like the one that he had in the third quarter last game. There were a couple more tonight. Bradley Beal getting that strip in the half court when there was a 3-on-1. Devin Booker making that save under the basket that he told me was a little bit of an iffy play. He probably should have just let the ball go out of bounds and let them set their defense. But those little plays, Royce was saying, are big in terms of stacking those up and building that defensive identity that we only saw in spurts last year. So I think they were pretty happy with the way that they competed. They all said that there are still a lot of areas where they can improve, and I think we can all agree on that. But defensively, this was probably their best performance so far of the season, especially with the way that things started in this game. The Lakers just couldn't be stopped getting out in transition, and the way that the Suns clawed their way back into that game, especially in the second and fourth quarters with their defense, was pretty impressive.
Obviously, Yusuf Nurkic didn't play significant minutes again tonight against the Lakers. What did Coach Bud have to say about that strategic move, and do you think it has impact on the future of the way that they play Yusuf?
Yeah, I think you look at these first 4 games and the fact that down the stretch of 3 of them, Nurkic has not been on the floor shows you that Mike Budenholzer is doing what he can to keep Nurk's spirits high and keep his confidence high. But at the same time, he's willing to go away from what is not working. And so far this season, outside of the Dallas game, what is not working has been Yusuf Nurkic. I think last year we saw that he had flaws, but for the most part, the Suns were a net positive with him on the floor. That just hasn't been the case for the majority of this season. So Bud was saying that, tonight there is such a thing as riding the hot hand, even if it's not in a scoring capacity, and they felt like Mason Plumlee, with his rebounding, screen setting, his defense, the activity that he showed on that end of the floor, those were all things that they felt he was contributing in a positive way, so they went with him down the stretch. Devin Booker did say after the game, he's been in this league for 10 years. He understands what it is. He knows that he needs to play better, and we're going to rally behind him, and we still believe in him. But it is something to keep an eye on because, like I said, 3 out of these first 4 games, they have had to go away from him down the stretch. And if he can't prove that he's playable, we're going to see that more and more moving forward. And it's going to be something where, as much as small ball works in stretches, as good as Mason Plumlee was tonight, you can't always depend on either of those things. So at some point, Nurk is just going to have to play better, or they're going to really have to make something happen in terms of upgrading that center spot.
So, Gerald, you're saying some nights Nurk don't work?
Not in that way, but yeah, I agree with you.
And the hard part with that, too, is that your hands are kind of tied. Like, it's not like there's tons of options out there to upgrade that position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've talked about this all summer in terms of the trade options, and I'm sure in the coming weeks, if this continues, I'll have to crank out another one just to explore after a summer of free agency if anything has really changed. But we've talked about this a lot. There are not a lot of starting centers that are out there, upgrades that you can get that are going to be on the trade market that the Suns could realistically attain, especially since they can't take on more money than they're sending out. They can't combine salaries to get a higher salaried guy. You're looking at having to flip Grayson's $16-point-something million contract. There aren't a ton of starting caliber centers on that type of money that are going to be available on the trade market. So this is a tricky situation, and I think the Suns would really benefit with Nurk just playing better than he has so far this season.
Gerald, I got 2 questions for you. The first one, starting no other than
I'm missing those, bro.
the Blue Collar Boys, Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn.
Fuck.
What was the conversations post game, whether it be from coach or other players or the 2 players represented themselves, and just the gritty nature and dynamic and aggressiveness and activity that they bring on both sides of the floor to the lineups?
Yeah, a lot of questions about Ryan Dunn, a lot of questions about Royce O'Neal tonight, and everybody seemed to be in agreement. When it comes to Ryan Dunn, Mike Budenholzer was saying in terms of building our defensive identity and our competitiveness, that's basically the definition of Ryan Dunn. Book was saying he comes in and he carries himself. He doesn't carry himself like a rookie. And physically, he's not in a situation where he has to get stronger or put on muscle right now. He's already here in terms of being able to, take drives from LeBron James and body that contact and still stick with it. His defensive rim protection that he brings is what helps the Suns go small in those stretches. And then Royce O'Neal, like the plus-minus god so far for the Suns this season, just the way that he's impacting the game, getting blocked shots, getting deflections, the defensive communication. He had that one big 3 down the stretch tonight as well. The floaters, Kevin Durant mentioned in the post-game locker room how his floater game has been on too. It just feels like little things that you might not notice when you look at the stat sheet or even in the flow of the game unless you're looking for it. Royce is out there making those types of plays, impact plays on both ends of the floor. And it's impressive that the Suns have 2 wings that are coming off the bench and doing those things for them on each end.
And my last quick one for you, just kind of looking at specifically Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. What's been the kind of temperament or feel from Mike Budenholzer in terms of the ways that those 2 players have been used? And just out of your opinion, what's been your biggest takeaway from maybe how those 2 have evolved as scorers in Mike Budenholzer's system?
Yeah, so Mike Budenholzer is notorious for kind of dodging schematics and tactics type questions, but I did ask him what he liked about kind of the balance between those 2 tonight, because this was the first night of the season where they both had it going at the same time, it felt like. And he was saying, he was crediting the caliber of scorers they are for the most part. But I do think that they've done a really good job of putting them in better spots. If you look at Kevin Durant's actions and shot attempts over the last couple of games, they put him in quick decisions where he can make a quick dribble and get to a spot where he can size up the defense from the top of the key. And if they send help, he's got a pass near him. There was one that led to a Tyus Jones corner 3, I think early in the third quarter. where they ran their action. They got KD the ball at the top of the key. The defense came, swing, and he had an open three. Like that is good Kevin Durant initiation, and I think they've done a good job of putting him in off-ball situations where he can catch, make a quick decision and attack. And I think Devin Booker is still trying to find that balance. I think tonight was a really great step in that direction in terms of being aggressive and finding that cohesion with Kevin Durant. So hopefully they can continue to build on this because, Book didn't shoot the ball well last game from three. He's going to be taking more threes this season. But I really liked the way that they both attacked tonight.
Thanks, Gerald, so much. We appreciate you joining us from the arena with updates from Coach Bud and the players.
Like, he's
Everybody,
not even in the
as
rotation.
always,
Like, what are you
but a good
talking
reminder,
about?
Gerald writes for us over at GoPHDecks.com as well, and he writes amazing articles you should absolutely read. And if you become a diehard, right now, not only do you get an introductory offer, but you also get access to all of Gerald's diehard level content, which is like the super, super good stuff. So make sure you do that, okay? GoPHDecks.com. Hi, Gerald.
Thank you, guys. And before I leave, I want to give a quick shout out to my wedding videographer or photographer told me that her cousin Sarah has been listening to our show for years now. She's a big fan. So I just wanted to give a shout out. Thank you for listening, Sarah. And I hope you have a great birthday this week.
Wow, that's one of the 4 female listeners we have to the program. Hi, Sarah.
Shout out Sarah.
There's more than 4 Espo.
It's like 99% to 1%. So.
Hi, Gerald.
Bye, Gerald.
Okay, couple more things here, and then we'll round out with some additional super chats here. We got to give that a grade. We're going to give out a grade, but we got to look at what's inside the box first. Presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes.
Oh, what's in the box?
So we got a 109-105 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. When you look at the field goals, 40 of 87 for the Suns for 46%. 39 of 94 for the Lakers, 41.5%. Three-point shooting, not as high of a percentage for the Suns tonight, but we still got up 36 of them, only knocked down 11. 30.6% from deep. On the Lakers side of things, they were 14 of 32 for 43.8%. Free throws, a little more even in this one, thankfully. The Suns are 18 of 20. The Lakers were 13 of 18. Blocks and steals, though. Here is where the Suns have the edge. The Suns finished with 11 blocks tonight to the Lakers 6. They also had 7 steals to the Lakers 5. I know those blocks and steals really stood out to you, Steven.
Big stocks, big stocks. Talk about the steals and the blocks. In addition to those, something that's not always encapsulated with those 2 stats are deflections. Deflections don't always result in steals or blocks, but they always result in disrupting the rhythm of your opponent. I don't know what the final total was in terms of deflections for the Suns, but tonight felt like their most active defensive performance comprehensively. And for those things, you don't surmise this comeback that they did without it. You can't make a comeback by just putting the ball in a basket. You have to string together multiple stops in succession with one another. They call them kills. You get those kills, you put the ball in the basket, that's where you need to be.
Well, and scrappiness like that is the only way this defense
bullshit. You're
not going to succeed just on scheme or just on pure defensive talent. You're going to have to be scrappy like that, getting your hands, in the passing lanes, doing those little things, and they did that very well after that first quarter tonight. By the way, Amanda, Chris, Alyssa, I know that there are Amelia. I know there are multiple females. My wife Tracy. That are in our chat and valuable watchers.
Melissa, shout out y'all. Shout out y'all.
Look, there's a lot of.
I just see contests.
I know that's a very fair percentages. Go look at the analytics.
Anyway, so those are the numbers, but let's look at the report card now and see how the Suns did in this one. 4 out of 5. This is the best one we've had so far. So I'm really happy here. We did not meet the 30-plus assists tonight. The Suns only had 21, but attempted 35 or more threes. Check. We had 36. Hold opponent to 114 or less. Check. The Lakers only had 105 points. Commit 13 or less turnovers. Check. You guys, we only had 10 of them.
Second straight game.
Look at us go. And the big 3 combined for 75-plus points. So we had a 30-piece from KD, 33 from Book, and 15 from Bradley Beal.
So I guess what we're saying is that, Tyus Jones not as valuable as we thought. They didn't get 30 plus.
Do you want to keep getting in trouble?
Yeah, I know.
Whatever,
Seriously.
Look, I'm a believer in once you dig the hole, don't stop digging. All
Okay,
right?
before we get to Super Chats, we have one final report card to look at, and that is our bets from the pregame show. Unfortunately, I lost $10 today. And I feel like it was a fluke. Book should have had 5 points in that first quarter, but whatever. Espo, Tyus Jones did not hit the first field goal, so you are down -40 right now.
Yeah,
Steven, Austin Reeves was your Achilles heel, right?
Austin Reeves was the Suns' Achilles heel, as he was last time. I had the under.
But you
on
took
him.
the under, and he hit. He went over.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you lost $10. You are -21.67.
What happened after
Eric won his bet and won a whole whopping. What?
Like
$11.50?
$11.50.
A very Lindsay-esque bet, but a win is a win. So Eric is only -19.50. Only.
That's to the wrong person, though.
So, I mean, I have $43.50.
Okay.
I'm in the green.
That's my fault.
That's
what the fuck I did.
I still got the championship belt, so talk whatever you
What
want.
have you done
Come
for me
back.
this season?
Come
You're
back to
in
me.
last place.
You can't guard
Come
him,
back
bro.
to me in April, because I was
Not
in
gonna
last place at the beginning of this thing last year too.
But you better get
and
real
I
comfortable
took
there.
the belt home. All right.
He did ass did come back, ain't gonna lie.
He said he put the belt on his purple pants.
And it ain't going anywhere. All right.
Let's
Thank you
hear
very
from
much.
the people with the super chat. All right. We've got one here from Leo. Leo sent us one and said, Nurk blocked Broadus on Twitter during halftime.
God, I hope that's true.
We need to do some investigating.
Do we? Because if he did, then he's going to get in trouble
Right,
because
because
of
the
the new
NBA
guidelines.
did just put out a new rule
So,
Oh my
don't
god.
be,
that you can't be on your phone at halftime.
no
So-
dry snitching. I know it wasn't intentional, but no dry snitching.
But I want to know for just the gossip. I
So
want the
he
tea.
had 3 blocks tonight, then, not just the 2 that made
Correct.
the stat
Hey,
sheet.
but
Hey, Nurk actually doing some work. All right.
Buddha the Schizo sent us one and they said, miss you guys, miss Suns basketball, and miss enjoying watching these games. Let's go. Thank you, Buddha. We miss you too. Come out to the next watch party.
Buddha, I'm waiting for a collab. I got some bars I want to drop. All right.
KT sent us one. Thank you. They said, I'm late. What happened to Saul and Flex from New Jersey? So we did have some changes to the roster this season. Saul got promoted to a wonderful job at All City, which is like our parent company, the umbrella company. So that's where he is. He's still doing outside shots with Eddie Johnson, though. They had a show this morning, actually. So you can go listen to that. For Flex, I don't know if you guys all know this or not, but Flex had a full-time career before coming and moving to Phoenix and getting into the media game. After a year of doing this full-time, he just felt like he needed to take a break, get acclimated here in Phoenix, spend time with his family, enjoy retirement a little bit. So from a full-time perspective, Flex will not be with us, but he will be around the Suns space. He'll come on from time to time throughout the season. You'll see him all around town in the Suns universe. He's still a part of the family. But that's where those two went. Now, that means we have 2 newcomers. We've got Steven, who is here with us on set right now, Eric Ruby, who you all know from Behind the Mac. Eric is in a kind of a slower transitional phase right now, sort of on the show at times, still running the show from behind the scenes at times, but give it a few weeks and he will be full-time in front of the camera.
Just say it. We're waiting for our 4th producer in 4 years
Basically.
to show up.
I don't know, you can pull back the curtain, that's your prerogative.
Noah's driving here from Detroit. He's on his way.
We've been interviewing people, and they say how many producers have your show had over the last couple of years, and then they hang up.
To be fair, every single one of our producers over the last couple of years has all gotten promoted. So Eric is just the
So what's
latest.
Noah gonna do in the next year?
I'm about to
I don't know
overuse
what Noah's going to do,
Book because
but
their guards cannot
Eric
guard.
is the latest on the list, so he will be joining us in a few weeks.
Tell him to stay in Detroit.
Can I read
Oh my
Lucas's
God.
Yeah.
$5 super chat from Lucas? Says, I wonder if Ginger Grimace was at the game tonight. That is a reference to our pregame show when we showed you Ray, the new mascot for the Valley Suns, who looks like a really weird combination of Eugene Levy and Gritty, the mascot of the Flyers. Yeah, that is that's
To
Ray.
add more plays for Book,
Yeah.
they just throwing it at
Ginger
KD.
Grimace.
Real quick, one more thing in the chat. Shane goes, "How did Flex retire? The dude was like 40." He was a little bit older than 40.
Flex is
45.
actually 82.
He's
Worked since he
actually
was 19.
82. But yeah, he's been. Flex had a legit awesome, like, kudos to him for that. I want to retire when I'm Flex's age. Maybe one day, but probably not.
Flex is definitely goals, that's for sure.
Gilbert, I hope Flex retired from sports betting.
I mean, Flex did have a really hard time last year. But you know what's so funny? He was talking to me. He's like, I really need to redeem myself from last year, though. And I'm like, Flex, I don't think you can come back from that.
You better start tweeting your bets, then.
You can come back from that. Anyway, one more super chat here. This one is from Ethan. Thank you so much. They said, someone tell Dwight Howard to fly back from Taiwan.
Isn't he on Dancing with the Stars? Isn't he too
way-
busy
Yeah.
dancing?
I didn't know he was
Wrong
on there.
person,
Yeah,
bro.
and
I
the
thought
way
he was that fucking
the way
shooting
he was
guard.
cheering for the Lakers from the baseline in LA. He
Wasn't
not.
him and KD going
Yeah,
back and
well,
forth a little bit there?
bit.
Look,
little bit.
Dwight's cheering for anybody that might give him a 10-day, and I think he,
Yo.
I think he hopes that that's the Lakers. So.
Hey, Dwight was pretty good on Dancing with the Stars. Bro was moving pretty smooth. Can't lie. Can't lie.
I haven't
the
seen
fuck?
it.
So many
I have no idea.
I'm not
He's a good
moved.
dancer.
I'm still not moved.
Yeah, have you seen the clip?
I have seen it. I'm not
You are
moved.
dead serious.
I'm
right
not
now.
moved
I
on
can
a
see it in your
basketball.
eyes.
I'm
Oh no,
not
not a
moved.
basketball. No. But
That's what we
If he
talking
wants to
about.
join the Suns dancers, he's more than welcome to.
him and
I don't need him on the
Gigi
basketball
dance
court.
champions together.
He could be like Ray's bestie.
Now we're making him a mascot?
Dwight Howard, the unofficial mascot.
Well,
Do you
he's
want
a
to be a G
dancer.
League mascot?
And he's a you just asked him to join the dance squad. What's
Yeah.
the difference?
That's an NBA dance squad. I didn't say go down and be part of the G League dance squad with Ray.
Do they have a G League dance squad?
I'd imagine so.
You should be on that one.
I'm willing to try out for it. Hey, Suns, I'll try out for that, and I want to shoot the T-shirt cannon at a Valley Suns game. Me and the, as Meatloaf put it, the chicken nugget mascot can shoot some T-shirts in the stands.
Anyway, I think that'll do it for us on this post-game show. Thank you all for joining us. We'll dive a little bit more into some additional things on tomorrow's 3 p.m. show from tonight's game, so be sure to come hang out with us then. And, of course, thank you all for being here. Hit that thumbs up button if you're here with us on YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow the show on social at PHNX_Suns. You can also follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald, who was on with us earlier, at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Steven at StevenPG3. You can follow Eric, who's behind the Mac, at Eric Ruby with a K. And, of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Hey, does anybody have how many points Bronny scored? Anybody know? How was Bronny tonight, huh?
Bronny dick.
Papa, why did I not play, Papa?
Oh,
we'll
shit.
see you in Tempe against the Valley Suns, Bronny. Hoy, hoy!
Y'all silly like the mayor.
Oh my god.
PlayStation. But it's
Whirlpool freestanding ranges come with all kinds of air cooking modes. For those weeknights that are totally up in the air. Whirlpool. Everyday care.
I was just trolling, Mud. See red then. See red then, Mud. See red, JJ. See red, Mud. See red. Stupid ass. See red. 50 burger. I don't know why they keep thinking Brad pussy or something. Fuck. What the fuck? I've never watched that day in my life.
So it's the Suns winning easily here. And in the win, a comfortable win in what was, I think, gee, a pretty hostile environment. It really was. You know, it's never going to be easy on the road, but they didn't have too many problems.
Do I got one more? I do got one more, so.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks very much, Bradley. Big win tonight. It looked like you guys had great offensive flow. How did you accomplish that?
That's the most fun we had all year. I mean, by far. I mean, the ball was moving on offense. We were playing great team defense and getting out on the break and scoring. And when you're scoring that many points, it's always fun.
Offense puts people in the seats and keeps players happy. Congratulations, Bradley. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. But first, let's reveal our player of the game.
Is she okay? What the fuck? In all honesty, though, that's crazy.